Today I'm showing you the best 3D printers for beginners. Whether it will be your first or your second 3D printer, I've picked out the best value for money 3D printers for you. They're a something for everyone. We start things off with the Bambu A1 Mini, especially if you're just getting started and aren't sure yet whether this hobby is for you. This is the ultimate printer to find that out. For just 189 euros, you get pretty much all the features you need. Automatic calibration, a camera and so on. The only real downside of this printer is the size. We only have a small cube of 18 by 80 by 80 centimeter. If size is important to you and you still want to stay under 200 euros, I would recommend the Elegoo Neptune 4. You can get it for 189 euros and it has a print volume of 225 by 225 by 265 mm. You will get along very well with it. It just lacks a few features like a camera. For me, the best beginner's 3D printer and the one I would recommend for everyone is the Bambu A1 or the Anycubic Cobra X. They're extremely similar. The thing is, in 3D printing there is the option to print with multiple colors with many printers. Both printers can do that too, but the Cobra X handles it significantly better and above all faster. The problem is that with a simple print in multicolors, you can quickly end up with 500 color changes, and one color change can easily take 90 seconds per swap. The Anycubic printer is 35 seconds faster with every change than the A1. On top of that, it's 60 euros cheaper. You can get it for 300 euros and it has a build volume of 26 by 26 by 26 mm. That's a decent cube and enough for most home projects. The next printer is for the cosplay fans and the one who likes to print really big. With the Elegoo Neptune 4 Plus, you get a print volume of 32 by 32 by 38 centimeters for just 289 euros. Or if you want it even bigger, the Elegoo Neptune 4 Max has a print volume of 42 by 42 by 48 centimeters for just 389 euros. Before you buy this printer though, there's one thing to consider. The printer is truly massive. So think carefully whether you have room for a big printer like this. So if you're seriously planning to print large parts, then I would take a look at both of these printers. But for the average user, I would rather advise against these machines, because they take up a lot of space and you will usually find more technology in smaller printers. Now let's talk about printers that can print complex materials, because you will always have to differentiate here. There are printers that are open like the Anycubic Cobra X, and there are printers that are enclosed like the Elegoo Centauri Carbon 2. There are various filaments that can only be printed with an enclosed printer, because they basically need a certain amount of heat around them. You can also print these materials with open printers, but then you need to build something like an enclosure yourself. So if you already known from the start that you would rather print more technical parts like for a car, motorcycle or similar, I would lean towards an enclosed printer. The best value for money printer right now is the Elegoo Centauri Carbon 2. With a discount code, you can get the printer for like 400 bucks. With this, you can print more complex materials, get multicolor, loads of small features like automatic calibration, a camera, and so on. I've also done a detailed review of this printer, which I've of course linked down below. By the way, this 3D printer market changes so fast that I keep making videos like this, so feel free to subscribe to this channel to not miss out on that. Let's go one step further with the Bambu X2C. You can get it without multicolor for 629 euros, and you really get a lot here. First of all, everything you get with the Elegoo printer. Plus, what sets this printer apart is the dual nozzle system here. Simply put, that means you can print with two filaments simultaneously and efficiently. For example, some prints require a so-called support structure because the printer can't print in the air. And the problem with these supports are sometimes it's hard to remove them. And here's the solution. And with this printer you have a pretty nice solution, because you can print these supports with a water soluble filament. So you just need to throw your prints into water, wait like 10 minutes and you're good to go. An issue with the Bambu printer is that it's a closed system. It's a bit like Apple, meaning you have an ecosystem. And once you're in the Bambu system, you will probably use the Bambu filament, the Bambu website and so on. In other words, the project is not really open source. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Everyone has to decide for themselves how they feel about this. There is also the Bambulab P2S, but to be honest, I wouldn't buy this printer because of the X2D. If you want a Bambulab printer, I would pay the extra 100 bucks. Trust me on there, you will regret it if you don't do it. While we've been going through the printers, I've briefly touched on multicolor each time. That's because personally, I'm not a fan of the topic at all, and I personally never print with multicolor, simply because it takes an incredibly long time and generates an extreme amount of waste. There's one exception to this. If you know you really want to print a lot with multicolor prints, because I have no clue, but there are cases where you need to print a lot with it. So then you should buy a so-called tool changer 3D printer. For example, the Snapmaker U1. There you have 4 different tool heads. With this printer, a tool change takes up around 5 to 7 seconds instead of 60 to 90 seconds. And if you have 1000 color changes, you know it's extremely efficient. You can get this printer for 900 bucks. There's another printer that's a little bit cheaper from FlashForge. I will make a review about this printer, but at this time I have no clue how the quality is, so please subscribe to this channel if you want to know more about this printer. Just as important as the printer is also the material, and I keep getting asked where you should buy your filament. I can't answer this question with one brand, simply because I use so many different brands. But these 3 companies stand out in particular. Number 1, Sunlu. Especially if material variety is important to you, you will get your money worth here. There is not only pretty much every material available, but also different variations like PTG, CF, ABS, GF and much more. I print a lot with these specific filaments and I almost always fall back on Sunlu. If you want to buy really cheap but still good quality, Eligo is one of the best places to go. Right now you can get great bulk discounts and stock up on good filament cheaply. If the price doesn't matter to you and you just want to have good filament that looks amazing, I would advise you to look up Prusa. They have awesome quality and some cool variations. They have a PLA with particles in it and it just looks amazing, and that also in different colors. But that was a lot of printers and a lot of information. So to keep it simple, if you just want to print simple things, check out the Anycubic Cobra X. If you want the best value for money, get the Eligo Centauri Carbon 2. The Bambulab X2C offers a ton of features, and the best multicolor printer is the Snapmaker U1. In the video descriptions are the best deals, and if you now want to understand every filament type, check this video out. Thanks for watching.